Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Footwork In podcast, and we have a special guest today. We got our usual suspects, Peyton and Trevor, and of course, Dylan. But we have Lake DuBois in the house. Well, he's not in the house, but he's in his house. And today he's in our house. So
somebody's house.
Yeah, Lake DuBois, bodybuilding extraordinaire, not pro. Okay,
Pro.
Maybe one day.
Maybe we'll go with maybe one day.
Maybe one day, if he gets serious. What else can we say about you, man? Referee.
I am a referee. I actually have games.
All sport referee.
Yeah, let him go right into it. Tell us a little bit about you, Lake. I don't even know that much about you.
This actually worked out today.
He's a dude.
I have games at 9:00. I have my jersey and pants ready. But my name's Lake DuBois. Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for having me on the only podcast that chooses to record before 7:00. We
put in that work.
There's so much work being put in. You have to do this, right? But yeah, sorry, I'm trying to make sure my laptop will stay charged for this.
Good.
My name is Lake DuBois. I live in St. Louis, Missouri currently. I've known all these guys for a few years now, at least. Well, Peyton being the only guy I've known for a few years. I've known Dylan and Trevor since we were kids. And
yeah,
I currently live in St. Louis, Missouri. We competitively and recreationally, I'm a bodybuilder. I am a husband to Laura DuBois. I also officiate basketball and football, umpire baseball. I'd love to go in on
soccer,
that if you guys
volleyball.
are. What's that?
Tennis, soccer, volleyball.
No.
Racquetball.
Croquet.
None of the country club sports.
Pool.
Only the sports where people like to yell at you at are the ones I like to do. But if you guys are curious about that, I'd love to go into that. But we competitively and by trade, I am a bodybuilder. That's kind of my focus. And that's what I'm good at, I guess you could say.
What? I mean, you forgot the most important. You're my coach, so that should be your first thing.
I'm also the host of the podcast, and I guess the leader of the podcast. That's kind of how I look at Dylan. Unfortunately, not as a diss to you guys, but I look at Dylan as kind of the brains of the operation.
Trevor puts in a lot of work too.
Yeah. Trevor,
I got this train rolling, boy.
Trevor's the one that sent me the link, so he's therefore the leader. I guess.
Yeah, he's
the brains. I'm the heart.
That's right. What is Peyton?
Yeah. Dylan's the reason we do this so early. Let's put it that.
I'm the co-host.
Peyton's our. I don't know what Peyton is. He does our shorts.
You might be our leader, Lake, because you're the leader of Dylan. So
yeah, bro. Technically
our leader.
By default.
You're in charge.
This is your podcast.
But yeah,
last night.
A scary thing to think about.
But yeah, I'm also Dylan's coach.
You're my coach, and so last night we'll talk about that. But last night I want to get into a story time with Dylan. It's not really. I don't guess it's like a story. It's just telling you about last night. Last night we went out to celebrate Trevor's fiance's birthday at a Mexican restaurant, and there was this burrito on the menu. What was it called? Big Daddy's burrito,
man.
So it was like a 4 to 5 pound burrito. It had chicken, steak, shrimp, chorizo, every protein they had. El Agave.
Oh, okay.
It was actually my first time there, and Peyton's, I think.
Yeah.
we have this ongoing joke with Peyton that he's only been to Oxford 6 times.
Didn't he literally work?
It's been a couple more than 6. Exactly.
So there's this burrito. It's got everything, literally every ingredient they offer, just about. And me and Peyton split it, and he was wondering if it was really 4 to 5 pounds. And I told him, bro, I gained 3 pounds last night. Yes, it's 4 to 5 pounds. That's accurate. So I did not want to accept that weight.
Home,
so I record my weight every day, and I send the average to Lake every week. And I did not want to put that weight in my average. So I went and used the bathroom and came back and lost like 2.5 pounds. So I didn't want it to skew my average for the week.
Dude, every time before I check in with my coach, I always make sure I poop right before I get on the scale. Because guaranteed there's at least about a half a pound that can come off right there.
Bro, it's magical. So I peed and I pooped and I got in the ice. Like, it wasn't an ice bath, but I was taking like a cold water bath. And like, I don't know, bro. It made me shrivel up and get smaller, I guess. They say it burns fat. See, I'm gonna start doing that. Like, not include the poop portion, but like, bro, cold water bath, bro. It burns fat. I weighed 3 pounds less after I got out, but I really just pooped.
That is.
I didn't have enough time, but I don't have to report my weight to Lake.
I didn't check my weight before I did it, or
Not
after.
Yet.
I just did it.
Not yet. Yeah.
We have to critique Peyton's diet.
Okay, that's a good. That would be a good first segment. Peyton, tell me what you ate yesterday.
I had 5 waffles.
Okay.
A cosmic brownie. And a Big Daddy burrito.
A Big Daddy burrito.
That's it?
I was
all right, that wasn't a normal day, though.
Yeah, that wasn't
Tell us your normal diet.
That's a lot of calories.
Okay, so I typically eat 4 to 5 little Eggo waffles before I work out.
Okay.
Then I work out.
It's for the that's for the glycogen, right?
It's just some calories before I work out. That's what that's for. It's not strategy involved at all. I then go, when I get done working out before work, I go and get me a little sausage biscuit.
From Jiffy's.
Okay.
Dairy Beast.
We're going to Jiffy. Okay.
Then when I get to work, so I've just recently updated what I eat now. It's not much more. I just want to look better for y'all. The little Jimmy Dean breakfast bowl just got about 500 calories in
body to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the podcast started, he was struggling, bro. He was not going working out.
Bro,
and then we got on the podcast.
New Year, I hit a gear or something, bro. Of course, I've had 3 rest days in a row this week, but that's
you're sick
because I'm sick. But after my biscuit, about 9 o'clock, I eat a little breakfast bowl, about 500 calories. You got cheese, potatoes, eggs, bacon, and sausage in it. Lunchtime comes around, drink a protein shake and some blackened chicken Alfredo or some kind of chicken and pasta. Roughly 500 calories when I do it. 2 o'clock break or whenever I get my next break, protein shake, 2 cosmic brownies. Then whatever I eat when I get out of work.
Whatever I eat when I get out of work. Okay.
Yeah, so whatever we have for supper that night. So it's not exactly a diet. It's just I want calories.
I mean, technically it is a diet.
But every diet's a diet.
Scale of 1 to 10, Lake. What do you think about that diet?
Actually,
break it down for us.
It's a little bit more than I thought it was. Just based off listening to the podcast.
What about the peanut butter?
Oh yeah, I forgot. I also do about 2 to 3 scoops of peanut butter.
Scoops?
They're not measured. I get a plastic Great Value spoon, and I just scoop a lot out. And however much is there is how much I eat.
Probably about 2 servings.
Wait, you use a plastic spoon, you said?
Yeah,
Great value brand.
It doesn't break off in the
Great
peanut
value,
butter?
specifically.
That's what I was wondering, bro. It doesn't break off in there?
No, my peanut butter's soft.
It's in your car?
I don't put it in the fridge or anything. Why would I do that? So, like,
the only people I see
only
put
started
peanut
doing
butter
that
in the
because I was gonna make
fridge are fat old white men.
Only reason I started eating peanut butter like that is because I was gonna make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for work the other day. Well, we didn't have bread, so I just grabbed the peanut butter and some spoons and went to work.
You gotta make do,
Let's
man.
make something work out of it.
You gotta make do.
1 to
It's
10.
a work
What do you
in
think?
progress.
1 to
1
10.
to 10. Given
0 to 10.
So I do listen to the podcast, and I've been keeping up with Peyton's attempt to.
What do you think, man?
To get back in the groove, per se, and for the stage that you're at right now, and you're kind of getting back in the swing of things, so to speak.
He's being nice.
He's
softening it up.
If that's really what you're doing, what you're doing every day, if that's really what you're doing every day, and you're not losing weight, we could definitely do better. But I'd give you, I don't know. I feel like if that's really what you're doing every day, hopefully it's something you improve upon. But I feel like I give it, 6.5, 7. If you're a girl, like you'd kind of almost
better than what I'd give it.
Yeah.
It's definitely nowhere near as many calories as I need. It's just I'm back into working out. I gotta work on this nutrition thing.
What do you think? Like, what could he do to improve this? Like, give him like 3 tips. Do you have 3 tips for him?
You
Hot
need
off
one.
The dome.
You need one. The first one. The first thing you need is a meal that you can depend on and that you're going to be doing every day. For a lot of people, that needs to be breakfast. But also for a lot of people, it could be a pre-bedtime meal, at least about an hour before. But yeah, or even lunch, but obviously, yeah, everybody I think that's really trying to do this thing needs at least one meal that they can depend on and say,
is it recording?
We're back.
Okay. All right. Peyton, how much strength is left on the table though? If you were to actually eat enough.
I'm sure there's some strength there.
Your strength is pretty bipolar too, because you're like one day you're like squatting 440, and then the next day, not the next day, but like you like can't even hit 405.
And if I actually focused on strength and nutrition, I'm sure I could hit some pretty good numbers. Considering I hit 440 on bad diets, deadlifted 525 on bad diet. I mean, there was some depression involved too, but that's
or low.
See, it's weird. Depression always made me much worse.
Made you worse,
dude.
It depends.
It's like
it would make
me
get
in the gym.
Well,
it made me get in the gym more.
I've never been the hey, I'm fighting my demons guy. So don't get me wrong, I've used the gym to cope with certain things, but like I've never been depressed and gone to the gym and be like, man, I'm so glad I hit 2 PRs today. It's just anytime I've ever been through a rough time and I'm in the gym, usually I kind of have to take I have to back off a little bit because I can feel it immediately as soon as I start doing like some core lifts that something in me stressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can't even tell.
I had moments when I was depressed and like hit some 45-pound PR, and I'm like, did I really do that? Like I wasn't even fazed by it, and then I look back, I'm like, dude, how the freak did I do that?
I always like feel normal going in the gym and like just knowing that life stress was there. But like I get to like you said, hit the core lift and it's not there. I could definitely tell the effects. It's depressing.
Yeah, especially
it just ruins you. It makes it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I can't do nothing.
For me, especially if I'm super stressed, like if it's work or a personal thing, like I cannot. I'm not gonna say I cannot because I do it all the time, but it's really hard for me to stay focused into a workout, and I mean I can feel it, and especially like if like I think it was. I always revert back to the story when I was a freshman in college. We were going. I was getting to my first year of finals, and they said, everyone always talks about finals are stressful and everything. I was like, well, tonight when I'm studying, for a break, I'll go work out. So I'm studying for 5-6 hours, or whatever. And about 3 hours in, I go work out, and I'm doing back that day. I'm deadlifting, and at the time, I'm doing like 315 for 5, and I walk in, and I remember throwing 315. I remember everything felt heavy. And then I throw 315 on the bar, and I think I maybe pulled it for a double. And I'm like, dude, what is going on with me? Like something is wrong. Like I can't figure out what's wrong with my body. Like I'm looking at my program and stuff. And anyways, so I come back the next week and everything just felt fine. I'm like, oh my God, is stress like I did not realize stress was that big of a I didn't realize at the time, at least, that stress was that big of a God. What's I can't think of the word for it, but a negative, I guess.
Hindrance.
Yeah, hindrance. Sure.
There you go.
Stressor.
Stress about being stressed.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Exactly. And so that's why I mean, and I think as an adult, I've learned to deal with it a little bit better. I might have a really stressful day at work, and up until like a certain to a certain threshold, like I usually forget about it once I'm in the gym, but I mean, especially like you add in the physical toll and like if you've been on a job where everybody's yelling at each other and stuff, by the end of the day, man, I mean, you feel it, physically.
Yeah. No doubt.
For sure.
I feel like for me, I'm more prone to get injured if I go up in there stressed because I feel like you get more prideful too. So you're like to like try to push through the stress for me.
Oh yeah, you try to use the workout as a crutch to like make yourself feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do more, and then you get hurt trying to do more.
Yeah.
Than you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. No. Totally.
That's just a normal day.
Unless it's with running, and then I just keep going.
Don't bring running up with Lake, bro.
Don't bring that up, man.
Don't bring running up with Lake, bro.
See,
it triggers him.
Running is so interesting.
Running in CrossFit.
Have you told him we're gonna run 2 marathons this year?
What? No. I haven't agreed to that either. So.
Dude,
no, you're locked in, bro.
The thing with running,
Lake's gonna leave, bro.
the thing with running to me, like as opposed to lifting, is with lifting, like from week to week, month to month, like I can tell if I need to back off or not, but just based on like how the load's feeling, if I got it for 8 reps this month instead of 7 reps last month, or I'm getting it for 6 reps this month instead of 8 reps. But with running, like it's so hard for me to, or just as an outsider, I guess, like to look at it and go, like, okay, is my performance declining right now, or is it just that I'm being lazier? I guess you could say the same thing with lifting, but with running, I feel like that's a lot harder distinction to make.
Yeah, it's a little harder to quantify. I mean, a rep with running and a rep with lifting it's a big difference because.
Well, a rep with running might be 2 hours, or a running workout might be 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we had Trevor's
I'm still here. The camera just stopped working.
Input on this.
Where did he go?
It's all good. We brought Lake in and we got all these technical difficulties.
No, we can deal with that. We don't need to see your face.
We've been running smooth for like 9 episodes.
Is that St. Louis Wi-Fi?
Yeah, honestly.
It's hard too to like if you're running, you're like, all right, I'm gonna add a mile next time, like make progress. but that's like huge.
Do you look
Like,
at
running another
Like,
mile
in the
is
long
huge.
run, no pun intended, a mile that's a big rep to add.
a
It's
mile?
a big
is
rep to
definitely
add.
a rep.
Nobody's gonna add 0.1 of a mile.
I'm not gonna go
Well,
from
that's
3
what I
to
was. That's what I was
3.1.
about
Like,
to ask. Like, for maybe some of your viewers who are maybe still beginner runners, like, are you looking to kind of like progressively overload your runs like
Hold up
that?
one
No. I'd say that progressively overloading runs, it just depends on the workout. Because if you're doing like a speed workout, you probably just want to
You probably
either
wanna-
do another interval or you want to do one of your intervals faster. So you want to show progress on one metric. And if you're doing like long running, it's just different because you could either like, all right, well, I did another mile, or I did the same mileage faster, or at a lower heart rate. It just depends what you're measuring because there's a lot of metrics you could go off of with running.
Yeah, you don't
like,
necessarily
you
want
can
to.
progress your distance or your time, like going from adding 5 minutes to your run versus adding a mile to your run, and just kind of depends on.
Well, it kind of parallels with the gym because you can't add weight forever. You can't add mileage forever. I mean, you could, but you'll die.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna be at like 100 miles one day.
It's like,
But
I'm
yeah,
killing
I think that's
101 next week, man. We got it.
yeah, that's. Well, I would think you would want to periodize it. Like that's the way I look at it too. Because I'd be like, all right, this week long run. I mean, it's kind of a shorter run, but for me, a long run is 4 miles, and then the next week 5, 6, and then maybe drop back down to 4 and
like
try to
do
go a little
drop set
faster.
the next week,
Drop set.
drop back to 4 again, and then pick up where you left off. And then,
Yeah.
Well,
And
yeah,
then maybe go a couple of weeks, add another mile.
Yeah. Well, that's probably
It kind of
that's probably
depends
good.
on like if you're
people, 'cause
training
I
for a
didn't-
race or not too.
Yeah, I've definitely never thought of it that way. That should be a good takeaway for people because I mean, you meet a lot of people who say like, "Oh, I go out and I run," but like, I don't know. I feel like most runners I meet, like, unless like maybe they're doing it competitively or something, like, I feel like most people just kind of get up and they say, "I'm going to run 2 miles today." You know what I mean? Like, I don't think many people, and it's kind of like that with lifting too, but most people
Yeah,
don't
I was about to say
program it at all.
And it kind of depends on the day. You don't get to like plan ahead your PR day. It just, that kind of comes with how it goes.
Yeah, it's a weather factor, a feeling factor. But when I was training for the marathon though, I had a straight like 20-week spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Like when I was gonna run, what I was gonna run. I think it was like 3 to 4 times
like
a week, and the mileage.
Like what we were talking about with the David Goggins approach. What did he say? He never peaks for anything. He just kind of trains and then does a race randomly. It's kind of like you see people with, some people do that with lifting, but most people you're going to see them peak for meets and peak for whatever they're doing. And it's the same thing with running. You could plan that out. You could peak for running too.
Well, no, that makes sense.
If you want to maximize, your potential for that event, if you want to continue to make progress over time without having that dip in performance, then you kind of do the steady approach.
I see.
Could you? Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, like, what made you want to get into bodybuilding?
Man, to me, it was the closest thing to what I enjoy, and what I enjoy is what most people would call a power building approach. Mostly core lifts, big 3 lifts with a lot of volume mixed in to make it more of a bodybuilding workout. Although I don't do a lot of regular bench press conventional, but what got me into it is that kind of figure out my training style and go, okay, this is what I enjoy. It's very similar to even like what a football player may do with just, more specialized exercises. But what got me into it was, everybody sees Arnold growing up and everything, and at some age you realize like, oh wow, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a bodybuilder. Wow, that's kind of cool. You see the Gold's Gym stuff and like, oh, that was kind of cool to me. But actually, I think the first time I ever like saw a bodybuilder was Coach Turner. Me, Trevor, and Dylan's PE coach growing up. When we were in 6th grade, he showed us all a film, and
Bro, I remember that.
yeah, he sat us down in the gym and showed us a film, and it was actually really educational. Like he showed us the film talked about all the different types of strength, I guess, and they said I think
I don't
first they
remember
said
this.
these men are bodybuilders, and it's showing all these old time like black and white videos of guys posing, and it's like most people would think that these are the strongest men in the world. These are not the strongest men in the world, and
They look the strongest.
yeah, and I think the video was actually trying to say like Olympic lifters, because I think at the time the video was made, like powerlifting wasn't really a thing, and so it was like Olympic
Yeah.
lifters are the quintessential strength athlete, and so yeah, I remember watching that, and you know, I remember looking at bodybuilders going like, God, like I'm just a short, fat kid, like I can never picture myself being that. Like that's the actual opposite. That's gonna be something, you know, Dylan McCullum does one day. Like that's the type. That's the type of genetics we were looking at. But yeah, so I remember seeing that, and then you know, played football for years, never even thought about bodybuilding, and then I think I was a senior in high school. I watched Generation Iron, the first movie, and it was, if you've never seen it, it's basically, I think it's the 2010, 2011 maybe, Mr. Olympia, and it follows a lot of the main competitors, Phil Heath, Kai Green, Branch Warren, and it shows their journey going into one of the biggest show in the world, and it follows their journey. I remember watching it with my dad, and I go like, man, that is so cool. Like, and he's watching it with me. He goes, that's freaking disgusting. Like, what, you into that? I was like, I think so. And so anyways, I keep trying
Went to your room and hit the bench press.
uh,
You went to your room and hit the bench press.
yeah. And so anyways, I from there it was just kind of natural, man. Like after football, I was, you know, wanting to keep weight training, and you know, I started watching more bodybuilding, just kind of getting into the sport naturally, and never thinking I would compete, you know. And over time, just kind of fell more in love with the sport, the trade of it, you know, started meeting people that do it. And so, yeah, I guess you could say that's kind of what got me into it. To me, it was just natural, you know.
What's the
If you like
difference?
Generation Iron, you should watch Froning.
Froning. I think I've seen Froning. See, I think I watched that also with
He
my
knows
dad,
what it
'cause
is.
He was like, that is so much harder than what you do. I was like, that's
Thanks.
fair,
I
I
don't know, bro.
guess.
Typical dad. Can't just be like, yeah.
My
do it,
dad's
son.
definitely the type to go, you know who really impresses me? The little guys at powerlifting meets. The big guys are strong too, but the little guys are really what impress me.
He's an underdog type of guy.
Yeah.
Trevor's
Yeah.
gonna be out here squatting more than all of us here soon.
Trevor.
Who? Me? Shoot. I don't think I want to squat more. Like I saw, there's this one dude at the gym, and this is kind of an off subject. but
Negative energy.
No, he's like probably, you wouldn't think he was super strong because he's about my size.
Mm.
But he'll be like deadlifting 500 plus, squatting like 400 and something. I'm like, what the heck? I ain't never seen him bench, so I don't know if his bench is strong, but
I'm sure it is if he's hitting all
I was
that.
like,
It's
what
kinda
the heck, man? This dude is not even like, he ain't even swole up or nothing. He's literally like, looks like me, but it's
Freaking
just
weighted
insanely
He's
24/7.
probably
strong.
benching at least 300,
Something, man.
even if he doesn't even train it that much.
But yeah, he's not a
But like,
bodybuilder.
what is the difference between like the sport of bodybuilding, like you're trying to get into, like like you're talking about, and like just like bodybuilding workouts?
Mhm.
Like I feel like a lot of people equate that to the same thing.
Yeah, so the sport of someone kind of put it funny one time. I can't remember who it was, but somebody said, you know, bodybuilding itself is a beautiful process. It's about watching your body grow, you know, seeing how nutrition affects your body. It's a beautiful process. But competitive bodybuilding, however, That's regular bodybuilding, but competitive bodybuilding, however, is disgusting, and these are vile people who
Treacherous.
Yeah, and the reason they say that is just because competitive bodybuilding is notoriously dirty, and we there's a lot of weird things that go into it. But at the same time, it's also
like steroids.
at the same time it's an extreme sport. I mean, people. My cat's meowing. At the same time, people. There's usually at least like one story every year of like someone dying during prep. There's videos of guys passing out on stage from being dehydrated. It really is an extreme sport, but so the difference between the two is bodybuilding is definitely more of a lifestyle, and competing is a lifestyle too. But competing to me should be reserved just for people who are kind of ready to embrace the extreme nature of it.
Steroids.
I got a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
What different splits have you tried, and which one do you think the best is for bodybuilding?
So I think splits are as far as I think splits are 1,000% overrated. To be honest with you,
I knew he was going to say that. Overrated.
Splits and splits are fine. Splits are fine. But I think everyone wants their training to fit like in a little box, and that's kind of what push pull legs is. That's kind of what the bro split is, so to speak. Everybody kind of wants it to fit neat little boxes and say, on Mondays we do this, or every 3 days we're doing this, and I just don't see that being ideal for everyone. In a lot of ways, push pull legs is even like what the first 3 days of my week kind of look like. But it's very individualized. I'm trying not to say it depends, but it's very individualized. That's another way to put it. As far as what the best split is, I'm about to say it. It depends. As far as the best split, it's really your training. It comes down to training frequency, how often you can be in the gym. If you can only be in the gym 4 days a week, push pull legs is definitely not for you. You don't want to just be kind of chasing the scare of 3 days on, 1 off, if that's not possible for you. Also depends on your training age. If you're a year in, you probably don't need 6 days a week. Just being honest with you. I think with a lot of people you meet, it's everybody wants to see numbers, right? Everybody wants to say I'm in 6-7 days a week, and 90% of the people that are in the gym more than 5 days a week are not training hard. Just being honest. If you can be in the gym, I'm getting to where I know that everybody's not like this, but I'm getting to where if you're in the gym 6 days a week, and you're at least not having like some easier days, you're probably not training hard enough, at least like for bodybuilding, because the amount of if you're doing an appropriate amount of volume, and especially if you're hitting core lifts, deadlifts, squats, and exercises that kind of have a proverbial bite to them, you're gonna need breaks. So as for what's the best split, it just totally depends on training age. Most people, like around me right now, usually I'm on like a 2 on, 1 off this time of year. I'm kind of getting into my growth stage right now, so hopefully I'll be able to push back into 3 on, 1 off. But don't worry about splits. Splits are overrated. Just try to hit every.
I can't even do the splits.
What's that? Yeah, me either.
I can't even do the splits, so
do not even worry about it.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I've always I'm not a bodybuilder, but I've always thought the idea of like push pull legs was kind of stupid in terms of like when you go into like compound lifts. If
you do deadlift the day before you do squat,
or like if you do like the compound lift for each dominant group, like bench press and then shoulder press, you're not really getting your max effort out of those too, because they're essentially close enough to the same movement. You know, you're pretty much doing the same exercise, just you're doing a horizontal strict press when you bench. You know,
I'd say
One way to
they're.
look at it.
I mean, I'd say they're different enough for it to be in the same workout. But I mean, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
You
mean, I think it's definitely.
you definitely.
What's that?
I was gonna say you're definitely not getting your max potential from each. You're not gonna like want to hit a max on the bench and then go and hit a max strict press and think that's your true max.
Yeah.
I guess it's individualized. You know.
Yeah.
What I used to do,
Don't say it depends. It's
yeah,
individualized.
it's specific to each person. I used to do on my upper body day. I started out with 3 days a week forever. Then I went to 4, where it was upper and lower,
hmm
with a rest in between. And for my upper, what I would do is I would do like a heavy bench set, and then like a 5x5 strict press or something like that.
hmm
I would call that volume, and that would work. And then the next upper day, I would do the heavy strict press and then the volume bench press, which that would work because you're not really trying to push it the same on both of them.
hmm
They're both. I mean, it was all hard, but it worked together that way. It just depends. You can surprise yourself how much you could actually do once you like adapt to it, and that's like your baseline.
hmm
Like if you're used to like squatting the day after you deadlift, then that's just you're used to it. But for somebody that has never done that before, it's going to affect them a lot differently.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
back when
No.
I was into it a little bit, I never really like when I first started. I kind of was more into like the bodybuilding layout, you could say. But I never did like more than one compound. Of course, I'm sure some of the lifts that I consider compound, or some of the lifts I consider accessory work, might actually be like more like a compound. Like,
No, I see what you're
but
saying.
I think Romanian deadlifts, you know, I'm not thinking that's a compound lift. Or like barbell rows, that's more
Technically,
accessory work, high rep stuff.
Yeah, in
For
terms of
me,
like what's a
technically, it all
compound
is.
lift and what's not, like it.
it's just what I consider because, like, if I'm when I go and train, you know, and the way I lay out my workout, I'll have like my strength exercises, like whether it's clean, snatch, deadlift, strict press, you know, any kind of like the main lifts. And then like if I do accessory work, it's the more lower weight, high rep stuff, like a Romanian deadlift or a barbell row, or
Mhm.
That's what CrossFitters call accessories,
yeah, that's what
bodybuilding.
CrossFitters do. Yeah.
They call bodybuilding stuff accessories.
Accessories.
Yeah.
How do you
We
feel
don't want to
about
give them any
CrossFit? Like,
credit.
Uh-oh.
No, I think
oh,
CrossFit's great. The one thing I really have a
He didn't
problem.
want the hate.
One thing I really,
He
yeah.
didn't want it.
Um, one thing I really have a problem with when it comes to fitness is and the culture overall is tribalism. You know, and you see this in everything. You see it in politics. You see it in movies. You see it in everything, right? You probably have it at your workplace. You know, uh, some
cult.
people like the old format of email or whatever, and some people like the old system or whatever. It's just you see it everywhere. There's going to be tribalism, but uh, in fitness especially, like this is something that we should encourage as many people as possible to be a part of. We are in the middle of an obesity epidemic
Right.
in this country, and all I was about to say all over the world, but I think that's true. I mean, I think in other countries
I
they're
don't know.
experiencing a
You
lot of
go to
problems.
Europe.
We're the worst.
You
Yeah,
go
I
to
mean,
Europe, bro. You don't see. When I went to Europe this past summer, I hardly saw any obese people, and if they were obese, you could just tell they were from America.
Historically, the heaviest people are the richest. Like they're just sitting around eating all day, like don't
Well,
have
I know a
anything to
lot
worry
of
about.
the fattest people
Yeah,
Well, not
are the
here, but
poorest people. Oh,
historically.
you mean there? Okay.
yeah.
I'm curious.
Even the
Like
poorest
the
people in
just-
America are the richest in the world too. So
It's just a different type of one. Most of their food is way different.
No,
Like even you go to
yeah,
McDonald's,
yeah,
no.
it's
portions
like
are
a totally
smaller and
different
everything.
experience. Like I felt when I went to McDonald's there, they had the snack wrap. And I felt like I was eating healthy, even though it probably wasn't. But
I'm
it
curious what
felt
the
way
stat
different.
is in terms of like fast food restaurants in this country, like per square mile or something like that. Because like that's our problem.
Yeah.
They
You know,
Well, they
having
definitely have fast food, but it's just You can just taste it. It's
I
totally
picture
different ingredients too.
McDonald's. I picture McDonald's in Europe looking like Panera in the United States. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
They have a lot
somewhat,
more.
Getting
yeah.
an A+ on health.
There's a lot more
ratings.
choices too. Yeah,
I
They
There's
have a
see.
lot more
options.
regulations when it comes to
Yeah, in the
processing
United
food and
States,
stuff.
you
So
can put a brick
Yeah.
of lead in a baby food, and the
yeah,
Because I
Yeah,
would go into
more
that
volume.
some, but this is not a political podcast.
This
But-
is a good
I'm gonna keep
segue
my
to it
stuff
though.
to myself.
well,
I was gonna ask you,
we were
like,
talking about
after
CrossFit.
this.
I don't know if you want to move on from that, but that's okay.
Keep on the CrossFit. Keep on the CrossFit.
yeah.
'Cause
We'll come
I
right
wanted
back
to
to that,
see what you
Trevor.
thought about
We'll
that.
come right back to that, Trevor. Put a pin in that,
No worries.
but yeah, with CrossFit, man, we have too much tribalism in fitness, and it should be something that we encourage as many people to be a part of as possible in the middle of this obesity epidemic. And I just made a post on my Instagram last week for the first time in God knows how long, and it was about this bodybuilder who was kind of shaming kids for taking pictures too early, quote unquote, like in the gym, and like it's this whole thing. And we anyways, we have the point I was trying to make was that we have this huge problem where we're telling people, hey, don't do this, this is bad, or this is an L if you do this. CrossFit is an L, hold this L. This is so I think CrossFit is great just based on how many people are excited to go and do pull-ups at 4 a.m. or however early you maniacs are getting in the gym. I think anything that gets people excited to be proud of their bodies is a wonderful thing. As far as, do I think CrossFit promotes does CrossFit promote a long-term gain as opposed to bodybuilding? It's individualized.
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah, no, I've seen some amazing success stories from CrossFit where people go and but we haven't seen CrossFit play out over 50, 60 years like bodybuilding necessarily. Bodybuilding, we've seen there's probably some decent data on, how long does this last over someone's whole lifetime. We haven't been able to see that with CrossFit yet, but for the 20 years, I guess, that CrossFit has been around, 15 years maybe, we've seen a lot of people who maybe got into it and are still doing it, but I feel like there's a lot of turnover maybe in CrossFit gyms. I'd have to be in boxes more and some of these higher end places to see what the turnover's like. But that's the main. As for what's best for us as a culture, I think it depends on just what that turnover rate is, and if we can get more data on that, that'd be great. But whatever gets people excited and is sustainable, So I think, and CrossFit's great about scaling down workouts, and there's a lot of variety, keeps people interested. Would I have a stronger argument for bodybuilding or bit more basic strength training being
Make it
more beneficial? I think so. But hey, CrossFit is great, man. CrossFit's great.
Do you consider CrossFit pull-ups real pull-ups?
And CrossFit, they're real pull-ups.
Yeah.
CrossFit, they're real.
They have their utility.
Yeah. No.
They're a variation.
They're not good for producing strength, but for getting more reps in, and
or even looking
looking
like an athletic person, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Man, you look like a worm on the bar. That's pretty cool.
Hey, it's actually a lot harder than it looks. I really underestimated. It took me months to figure it out how to do it.
Yeah, like that's like I used to look funky trying to do it whenever I originally started, and like I feel like that's where a lot of it's like, a lot of people hate on CrossFit, and specifically like their pull-ups and their funky looking moves like that.
Mm-hmm.
And people really underestimate the difficulty of them. Now, like once like everything can be difficult in some manner.
Almost
like,
everything's
trying to
difficult
get
if you do it 100 times or whatever back to back.
But
Yeah.
it has its perks.
Well, they're hard to like just figure out how to string more than one together.
Mm.
It's a skill, it's an art for sure. But if you have good body awareness, it's easier.
Yeah,
It's kind of like
most
a
people
burpee
don't
on a bar.
Yeah, I think what most people don't understand is like there's more to CrossFit than just like your actual conditioning workout
Mhm.
or your metcon or WOD, whatever you want to call it. There's your strength training, your accessory bodybuilding stuff. Now,
Mhm.
like most, especially like your more elite people, they're doing strict pull-ups and strict muscle ups and the
Mhm.
strict movements to increase their strength when it comes for the CrossFit version of it.
Yeah,
That's
one
just
thing I'll say about CrossFit practitioners is that they typically, and I'm not talking about like a level 1 CrossFit cert, but we're just gonna say level 2 in terms of like, not necessarily a beginner, but like maybe you've learned how to put a workout together. I would say like some of these like non-beginners, but like not maybe intermediate, I guess, CrossFitters know a lot more about training than at most intermediate bodybuilders. CrossFitters learn about a lot of different lifts. Whether or not they're able to master any of those is up to that person, I guess, but and up to their coaching primarily. That's a big. I guess that's another big thing of CrossFit is like it comes down to coaching, right? And
Yeah.
in terms of how well people are going to learn and what the retention rate is, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I'll give CrossFitters is that they typically learn a lot more than just say intermediate bodybuilders. Because intermediate bodybuilders, man, they're doing push pull legs and they're calling themselves a coach. You know what I mean? It's just it is what it is. But I'll give CrossFitters that credit.
Look, it's this quote. Everybody's heard it, but nobody's finished it. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
Ooh,
That's the full quote.
ooh, but oftentimes better than a master of one. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, CrossFitters. There are people that are elite at some things. Like individually, like gymnastics. There may be a
like
gymnastic
Danielle
guy that comes in
Brandon's
and do.
crazy good at handstand walking.
Yeah, like she's doing well.
It's just crazy.
Maybe, but she's really good compared to other CrossFitters.
Mm-hmm.
CrossFitters are going to be really good at a lot of things, but like not top 1%.
Great.
Well, I guess they probably are top 1%, but like not top,
Well,
top
top
10
1% at deadlifting just because they're elite athletes.
doing it.
They're
Yeah.
elite athletes doing a compound lift. They're going to be strong.
Right.
It's like they all have their strengths,
Yeah,
and they're
no,
going to
and
be
I think
better
that's
at
pretty cool.
those compared to others. But.
Yeah, and I think it's cool when you get to the CrossFit competitions, and you'll have a guy like I think oh man, I'm forgetting his name, but one of the CrossFitters who was I think it was Matt Frazier, I guess that was like the competitive Olympic lifter before he got into CrossFit.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see, like for a coming if it's they're about to do a snatch, like they know like okay this is his specialty, but this guy may be good at deadlifting, and so later on in the day we'll see how that evens out.
Yeah.
I think that part's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Nobody at the games is doing like anymore. They're all like elite now. So
Yeah, CrossFit's grown enough where
they all have good form is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, and I think people do an unfair thing where I think people are unfair in terms of I think it's Alette. Who's the guy on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm about to say,
Dylan
who's
that
that
does
dude?
the CrossFit
Elgin's
fails every year.
intensity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
intensity.
That stuff's great.
It's so funny.
People in general are kind of unfair to CrossFitters in that. I mean, if people looked at because okay, so when a CrossFitter is doing something idiotic, everyone sees it, right? But with a bodybuilder, they'll do something stupid for 10 weeks before a show, and you may or may not see it on their body. You know what I mean? Like the CrossFit idiocracy, I guess, is more vivid, if that makes sense.
I think
Yeah,
they
more on
use like the
display.
games as a bad example because, like, I mean, that is
Those
days
aren't
of
normal people.
though they are under extreme fatigue,
Yeah.
and then going into these heavy lifts just to see how much they can actually do. There's gonna be bad form,
Yeah.
Even then, they're outperforming most people.
You do
Oh,
a marathon row before your max deadlift, you're gonna.
yeah. Yeah. You might
It's
have
gonna
some
be a
ground
little
effect.
lighter.
You might get a round effect.
But also, they're so used to performing under that fatigue. Like, if they ever, like, even Matt Frazier, did all this CrossFit for years, and then he's quit CrossFit and focused on strength, PR'd his deadlift within a month, like months. And like he said he hasn't squatted in like 2 years since he was doing CrossFit. And like this is current. I heard this the other week, and he said that he just worked up to a heavy back squat. His all-time best back squat was like 497 or something, and he hit like 485 the other day or something like
Yeah.
that without even training his back squatting forever. So like he's gonna hit 500. That's it. But outside of those situations, they got a lot more in them. But being under all that fatigue definitely brings it down a lot. Brings like your performance down.
No, I can't imagine if I have more than 10,000 steps in a day before I go lift, I feel it.
Yeah,
Peyton, how'd your step
that's
average
a
for
lot
the
of
week?
steps. That's a lot of steps, man.
Peyton hits like 20,000 a day.
Jesus.
Nah, this week was pretty low because yesterday I got like not even 2,000 steps in.
Hmm. The thing that kills me when
Rest day.
people like walk that much is like the old people look at you and be like, "Oh, you'll have strong legs if you walk 20,000 steps a day." And you're like, "Yeah,
Enduring legs.
that's
Yeah,
how
my
it
Yeah.
works."
average the past 7 days was 12,600,
That's pretty good. That's
but my average for the past month was 13,700. I
that's
take a lot of steps.
that's really good. I'd say that's really good.
Yeah.
Work's a cheat code. When I'm not at work, I take 2,000 steps. When I'm at work, I take 20,000 steps.
They said the top two indicators for like a long, healthy quality of life. It was one of the other, like, either longevity of life or quality of life when you're older is your VO2 max and your leg strength.
Mm. Mm. That's
Because when you're old, you got to get up off that toilet somehow.
Yeah.
and we laugh, but yeah, I mean that's serious. I mean, like think about how much harder. When we all have sore legs, and I have this one little flight of steps going up to my apartment, and when my legs are sore, man, you're looking at those steps like
Torture.
God.
Yeah.
But yesterday or 2 days ago when I was climbing them, I had like a blown out hamstring, and as I'm climbing them, I'm like, God, is this what my granddad feels like? When he goes to anywhere, you know what I mean? I mean, God, this would be terrible.
I
Well, you
would
think
argue it'd be
too.
upper body strength when you're 85 years old. If you fall and don't have life alert, you got to get up somehow.
Well, I mean, leg strength's an indicator of like total body strength.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think with old people though, it's really like their mental strength is more off the charts than most things. Cause like when we started doing 5Ks, right? We were like 20 something. We're like, okay, we're in good shape. We can come out here and kill it. And these old people would just absolutely smoke us. Like at the 5K last year, I think in the top 20, these ladies, they were above 60 and they were running like lower than a 19-minute 5K.
That's
Wow,
freaking crazy.
wow.
And then my uncle, he's like 87 and he speed walks at like a 13-minute pace. It's almost jogging, but he's just
That's
still walking. And he does that. He used to do it twice a day. He only does it once a day, but he does like 15 miles a day just walking.
jeez.
that heart and lung strength will do you really good until you fall and break a hip.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if we're ever going to reach that sub 18 5K until we're like 60 years old at this pace.
That's what they train their whole lives just to
I
get to
won't.
that point.
If I'm
Just to
60 years
finally
old, I
PR
won't
their
hit that.
5K at
These numbers are a little off, I'm sure, but I'm just gonna kind of give you a rough figure. Would you rather be able to run the 5K in under 18 minutes maybe, or would you rather be able to run it under, I don't know, say like 21 or 22 for like 30-40 years? Would you rather peak, or would you rather have it like the long
steady one.
career? I guess, yeah.
I think I like the 40 years.
You can have both.
think-
You can have both.
That depends, because I absolutely hate 5Ks, man. Like,
Yeah, Trevor dreads running fast.
yeah, I'm a distance guy.
He like throws up and gets lightheaded.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
thinking about
every
it.
race, bro, except for the marathon. I didn't.
Well, marathon
like-
wasn't fast.
Yeah. Like every 5K I've been to, I just get like nervous and I start like throwing up right before the race.
Yeah, like,
So I'm just like, it's just the amount of pain that you have to go through, even though it's like
Crazy.
so short. It's like a marathon is like
5K.
this slow pain that builds up over time and then it hurts really bad.
Mhm.
5K is like within a minute or two, you're gonna have to start really hurting to get a good time. That's what makes me throw up. I'm like, I don't want to.
God,
you
this is
have
gonna suck.
15 more minutes. 20
Yeah.
more minutes.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's why we run
5K
10Ks
suck.
now.
yeah, PR on your 10K is gonna hurt. Trust, because then you got to run.
If you
fast
ever
longer.
PR, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's gonna be the
Except
name of
marathon,
that.
it
That's
won't
gonna be
be
the name of
hard.
the episode. If you ever PR, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get your take on how important nutrition is in bodybuilding, because I'm trying to like find
just
a
health in
new
general,
standard
fitness.
for like my meal plan. I hadn't landed on anything yet. 'Cause
Mhm.
right now I'm in between doing like a hybrid build. So like I brought my mileage down a lot because we're not marathon training anymore.
Mhm.
And then I wanted to get back in the gym and build size.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
In
want to get your
terms
take
of,
on nutrition.
yeah, man. Honestly, so when it comes to building muscle, at a more beginner stage, as much as I'll say it's important, it is, unless we're talking about an obesity problem, or maybe you're just holding on to a little bit extra weight that you ideally wouldn't like to have. Nutrition really is almost secondary. I don't want to call it that because it makes it sound unimportant, but main thing is, there's 1,000 studies, if not more, maybe 10,000 studies about if you take people and you give them 16 weeks, if you take untrained people and you give them 16 weeks of weight training, they grow muscle, right? So we know that to be true. We see it all the time. And so that's without any diet change. So when people say, oh, you have to eat to grow, they're not saying, oh, you need to eat to grow if maybe you're an intermediate or advanced. They're just saying you need to eat to grow. So I think sometimes beginners will see that and they'll kind of overthink it and start thinking a lot about their diet, whereas that time could be better spent, maybe putting together a little bit better program. So yeah, you're, as far as bodybuilding goes though, nutrition's everything. It's I wouldn't say it's more important than training. It's a little bit higher on the pyramid. So pyramids down here, pyramids here, and we have I'll say we have training at the bottom of the pyramid, it's the base, but as you start going up the pyramid, nutrition might be that next step up. I might give like sleep and, well, we'll put sleep and nutrition in the same box, recovery, right? And so nutrition goes into that. It's also obviously body composition. People who maybe want to see a little bit faster results in terms of their body changing. Nutrition will play a huge role in that, obviously. If you're not taking in enough calories, you may still be able to get the new response in terms of muscle gain, but you also won't grow as fast. You won't, if you're overeating, obviously, then you may be sadder than when you started because you're holding on to all this extra weight, and you see that happen with people. They'll start eating a lot, and all of a sudden they got a gut, and it's like well, my bench went up. Well, what's our plus negative here? You know what I mean? So yeah, in terms of nutrition's everything, and when it comes to normies or obviously competitors. Competitors are a little bit more well versed in this thing, but
Normies.
all of the guys I know who have competed at a fairly high level, their nutrition to them is absolutely everything. They do not miss a meal. If they miss a meal, they're telling their coach. Like they're pretty obsessive when it comes to their diet, and but they at the same time, that's what makes them great. So yeah, it's everything.
Basically, if you want to level up at any level like that you're at right now, just dialing in that nutrition is gonna be a game changer.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
I think
free W.
Yeah, and this is something me and Dylan have talked about, but I think people in other disciplines of fitness don't put enough premium on it. It's kind of just for bodybuilders and powerlifters and runners, just kind of fill in the gaps however they can, and that's fine. Bodybuilders need a little bit more of a finely tuned diet, but I think people would benefit a lot from just preparing meals for themselves every day, being just a little bit more regimented.
Do you eat the same thing every day?
Yes.
Or like,
actually, I need a phone charger real fast. My battery has drained like so fast.
no
All right.
worries.
Even if you while he does that, I'm gonna say this. Like even if you not bodybuilding, like you're in a performance based sport like running or CrossFit or lifting of any kind, Olympic, powerlifting, whatever. Like just being consistent with your nutrition will help a lot because like if you like change up you you change up your routine like the day before a performance or like even before a training day, it's gonna like mess you up. Like even like I get some free meals through the week, and if I go to like McDonald's and eat, it's gonna jack me up the next day because I'm gonna feel like crap. You know what I mean? Have you ever felt that?
No, 100%. Like it's probably like 10, 15 minutes after I eat it.
Yeah, so even
I'm
like
so used to eating fast food that it doesn't affect
yeah,
me.
you get used to the processed food, but
yeah, it's like when you're out of it for a while. I wonder if Lake's phone died.
I don't know. Hope not.
You can't text him and ask if it is, because then what if it is? You can't answer.
Maybe we got some of his audio.
I think we were talking about nutrition before.
Yep.
So yeah, I think people could definitely benefit a lot more from being just even 10% or maybe not 10%, but like 25% more invested, I guess, in their nutrition. I think people could. I think most people undereat. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Most training people who are pretty invested in their sport, we automatically consider undereating as kind of discipline. I think a lot of times, I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I think a lot of people look at not eating as a discipline.
Yeah.
A form of
So I
discipline.
should invest 25% more into my nutrition.
Just 5%, Peyton. That's all he has.
5%. I was saying this when you went off, but like even like you're coming from more of a bodybuilding aesthetic body composition point of view. I'm even like if your goal is performance, like runners, CrossFitters, lifters, power lifters, Olympic lifters, like you're going to benefit from a more consistent diet because it's like your diet affects your performance a lot more than you think. If you're just doing random stuff, you don't really know how it's affecting you. Like you might go in there and have a bad day and just think it's because of something else, and it actually just be because you had a bad meal or something.
Yeah, or you didn't have enough water yesterday, or you've I think most people's variables are kind of all over the place, and everybody's trying to figure out, how do I have as many good sessions as possible? Well, one of the best ways to do that is having
Be consistent.
having more consistent intake. If you want a more consistent outtake, have a more consistent intake. That's all it is.
What's your take on water? Like, how much water should just someone who's working out pretty hard, like us three, like just average us together? How much water should we be intaking? We're getting after it in the gym.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I'm not sure what the actual if you ask your doctor, like, hey, I think the 8 glasses a day thing has kind of been thrown out the window. But if I think most people, most training individuals, a gallon's fine. My coach has me on 2 gallons a day, but I think a lot of that's just for digestion and trying to process food and everything. But yeah, I mean, for most people, gallon's fine. Runners may need a little bit more, I feel like, because the more I do 2 gallons, the more I feel like, how do people get to by with just a gallon a day? And then I realize, like, people, maybe will drink the equivalent of 2 bottles of water a day. Like, maybe.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, I got a cheat code
Maybe.
because work, like they buy pallets
Yeah.
of water for everybody. So I drink like 6 to 8 at just work of bottles, depending on how hot it is.
If that's
solid, bro.
Are they you probably don't know, but are they 16-ounce bottles?
16.9.
So 17
500 milliliters.
17 ounces
So,
times
1,000, and
9. That's 9. What's 7 times 9? 63. So that's 153. So you're getting a little over a gallon a day. A little over a gallon.
And then whatever I drink, like after my morning coffee or C4 or Black Rifle coffee, whichever one. And then I'll drink like 24 to 48 ounces of water at the gym. So,
I'm not laughing at you, Peyton. Dylan just had a small child walk behind him.
Looking crazy, too.
Bro, he'll come up in there and start taking stuff out of Dylan's drawers while we're doing
Bro,
like flipping
my
light
room will be
switches.
rampaged by the end of the podcast. At least he's still sleepy.
Don't have children,
Yeah.
guys.
And guys, I don't want to
didn't
rush
say
you or
that.
anything, but I maybe have like 10 minutes at the most left. So if you
Okay, well, before you go, we have to address the elephant in the room.
Elephant in the room.
In your room, in your arm, in your needle. The steroids, bro.
Yeah.
Do you or do you? Are you a liver? Did you liver
Did I
king?
liver king? Just for
That's a new saying.
I'll give you guys this advice. If you're ever having on a bodybuilder again, probably don't ask them that question.
We're only asking you that because.
But I've kept it clean. When it comes, but I don't want to be totally dishonest. If you guys see me on a stage again, they'll probably will, and I'm comfortable saying this. There probably will be PEDs involved if you see me on a stage again. That's the nature of the sport. And I have a coach who's much more well versed in that side of things. I trust the guy, and I know that he's not going to have me on a protocol that is dangerous to my health, whether my reproductive health or my heart health, all the healths. But I think he's, it's a guy I trust a lot, and that's the most important thing, is having people who know what these compounds do and what the effects are.
So I went to the doctor Friday, and they gave me a steroid shot. Can I consider myself natural
No.
still? I'm wondering.
Absolutely not.
No, bro.
I'm dirty.
PED. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, especially in bodybuilding, because there's no way to be competitive in bodybuilding without it.
It is right.
Yeah, isn't in that documentary? Then they like banned it, and then the next 2 or 3 years, the fan base like died off because the people were like so much smaller that they were like, "Whoa, what's going
Yeah,
on here?"
they did. I can't remember the year, but one of the years, the Olympia did that. They tried to ban drugs just like randomly one year because I think they thought it'd have like a bigger pop appeal, and automatically like people were like in the stands like booing people, and they were like they were asking. They basically, I think it was I can't remember who quoted this, but one of the owners or promoters or somebody said, the people come here for freaks. Give them what they want,
Yeah, I remember that. Like, I think that's the exact thing he said.
Mm.
So what do you think about it?
Rylan,
How much more of a competitive advantage do they give
Dylan,
you?
how much water does your child intake in a day?
Yeah.
Just depends. Some days he's just
It's
drinking like a
specific to
mule,
him.
and some days I don't even know if he drinks.
Do you just give kids water? Like,
He need at a
You
certain
just, like,
age.
I
you
don't
pour it
think
in
can.
I've
a
ever seen
bowl and
anyone under
put
the
it on
age
the
of
ground.
5 drink water.
That's like all he drinks, though. He likes water.
Hey, tell him the story, Dylan.
Of what?
The beta.
Oh my gosh! So I made me just a drink. I threw some beta alanine in it just so I'd have it in the system, not even as pre-workout. And a couple hours pass. He's drinking my drink. I'm not thinking anything of it, and he's just like crying and like ah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he had beta alanine. Bro was freaking out, had the itches and tingles. Bro, Abby was mad, bro.
It was hilarious.
He
I
gonna
was
send
like,
social
bruh.
services on you, man.
Bruh.
Bro was like, my heads.
He was like, ah. I was like, what
see
did he
him
get
start
into? It took us
sweating?
a while, but we figured it out. Yeah. He's ready to go to the gym.
That is
Yeah, he's like, we gotta go to the gym.
They wouldn't put him in the shower. They were freaking out, like wondering what was going on. Because I was there that night. They were like,
Yeah.
put him in the shower thinking he got some hot stuff or something on his hand. And then Dylan's later on like, dude, I know what it was. My beta.
Yeah, I finally figured it out.
Thanks, boy.
Man, got into
That
the
is
beta alanine.
hilarious. No.
In other words, do not give your child beta alanine.
I never intended to give it to him anyway.
Well, guys, I really do appreciate this. I have some basketball
Yes,
to
sir.
go officiate. Again, I do appreciate it. Yeah, we should definitely do it.
We'll throw
We should
somebody
definitely do it
out.
again.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we're gonna have to. We didn't get
Yeah.
to peel back too many
We didn't
onions.
get in
but
there.
Part
we'll
two
get
I
to
feel
that
like
coming
this is
very
a good,
soon.
This is a good starter. Good starting podcast
Yeah.
for us. We got a few. We got CrossFit out the way. We got some very basic bodybuilding principles out of the way. So yeah, we can definitely do this again.
Got about a third
Yeah.
of the nutrition side.
Next
of
one we'll
things
dive
out.
deep into like 1 or 2 topics. Go deep
Bro, we're
into
going to
it.
bring our entire diets. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, get your
We'll
check
make you
receipts in.
create us diets. Well, you already
We'll have
made
a
mine,
very
but
short list when I show up that day.
you're going to give us all a nutrition plan for free.
Absolutely.
No, I'm just kidding.
Just don't include eggs because
That
they're
is
too expensive.
yeah. No more eggs. No more eggs. Guys, take it easy.
No.
Thank you very much.
Hey, where can
See
they
you,
find
bro.
you,
Oh
Lake?
yeah. I'm on Instagram at Lake. Oh God, what is? Oh, Lake Dub _ or no, sorry, that used to be my other Instagram. I'm at Instagram at babyface.fitness. Babyface.fitness. That is my IG, and that's really all I use.
Baby
So.
face fitness. Heck yeah.
If you want to get swole like Lake and you want to be coached by Lake, hit him up. I don't know if he's taking in candidates, but
Leave your browser open or whatever you got to do.
Absolutely.
Don't close that. Don't close
Wait,
this
don't.
out. But yeah, guys. Yeah,
Oh, I
don't
was
close it out.
absolutely about
You can
to
go
close it
ahead
out.
and
Yeah,
you
can
can
leave.
leave.
You just can't close
You
it
can
out.
leave. You just can't close it.
yeah, just leave the
Go-
app open in the background
Sound
on your
for it.
phone.
Yeah,
It
you
has
can
to
go ahead and
hit
leave, and we'll
upload.
Okay,
outro without
that's
you.
fine.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
All right.
See you, bro.
See ya.
All right, guys. So, what'd you think about that? It was a good. That's a good.
It was a good one, man.
That's a good one.
He's
I think.
staring at us.
I
My
think we
first
got.
bodybuilder on here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to bring him
And
back
then
for
we
sure.
opened up. We peeked into a few cans here and there, but
Yeah,
I
it
feel
was
like
good.
the
That was
people
really
that
good.
want us
He
to
actually
dive
had
some
a
deep.
reasonable CrossFit talk.
Yeah, bro. I was like,
I
bro.
was-
Yeah,
I was-
I was
that was
surprised by
good.
that. Also, I was surprised by how chill he was about the steroids.
I knew he was gonna be chill
I
about
think
it.
he was just prepped about it. He's like,
I told him we were gonna ask him about it.
oh, there you go. But
But-
yeah. Where can they find us, guys? I guess
They can
just
find
Trev
us where we're
everywhere.
at.
Put Work
Dill
In
the Young.
Podcast every
Look
Monday.
up my
We got
picture.
clips coming out. We got shorts coming out. We're gonna get Peyton to eventually use the app that's gonna change his life. For
We've
creating
been
shorts.
trying to get him to use this app for weeks.
So,
I just
if you
haven't
see
done it
new
yet.
text on the shorts and you see them coming out more consistently and faster, then
Hopefully,
you know
by the time this comes
we
out,
got him on there.
Yeah, right.
in like 2 months,
Yeah.
it will be. We'll be switched over, but yeah, guys, appreciate y'all staying tuned. Stay tuned every week, every
Like,
Monday.
subscribe, leave us a
Like,
review.
subscribe, hit the bell. Stay
Do whatever
tuned
you gotta
every
do.
Leave that
Content
5-star
every
review.
day. Content coming out every day, and follow Peyton. Peyton cooks something on the everything.
Yeah, it's my name and my last name on everything with some numbers or some dots or some something.
Some
Just look
numbers
for
or
my
dots.
face, man. It'll be on
At
find
Dill
me.
the Young. We'll see you guys next time.